When you live mostly in your head, every decision becomes harder. You hesitate, you delay, you look for one more sign, one more confirmation before you act. And yet, deep down, there's often a quiet sense of knowing, an inner nudge that already has the answer. Today, we'll explore what happens when your intuition speaks first, how it communicates, why you sometimes ignore it, and how listening to it can bring calm and confidence back into your life. Welcome to Unbox the podcast. I'm your host, Sahar Palmer, and you're listening to episode 46 of season 25. If you hadn't followed us yet, please subscribe now so you don't have to miss next Tuesday's episode. This is science, not fiction. Every cell of your body, our body, is neurologically connected and programmed to sense and send feedback to our brain. It's referred to as cellular knowing or clairsentience. That quiet knowing is your inner compass, your intuition. It's not mystical, it's not separate from who you are. It's part of your natural intuitive intelligence, a resource that connects your body, emotions, and mind to guide you towards what is right for you, like a homing device of a pigeon. Even when logic can't see the full picture, your intuition can guide you. In my mentoring work, I often meet clients who are mentally exhausted, not because they don't know what to do, but because they don't trust what they already know. The stress doesn't come from lack of information only, it comes from resisting your inner clarity. So, what's the cost of overthinking? We've been taught that thinking more leads to better decisions. Yet the mind can easily slip into analysis paralysis. The more you analyze, the less you act. You're in your head instead of taking action. You start searching for the perfect answer, the perfect time, or the perfect reassurance. And in this search, you lose connection with what you intuitively know. One client told me I keep going back and forth on the same issue. I make a list of pros and cons. I ask friends, colleagues, I watch videos, but I still don't feel settled. What she didn't notice was that her body already knew. Every time she mentioned one particular option, her shoulders softened. When she spoke about the other option, her breath became shallow and her tone tightened. That's how your intuition often speaks, through the body first, your first dimension of change. You might notice an expansion or ease when something is right, and contraction when it isn't. The moment you begin to override these signals of shoulds and maybes, you disconnect from your inner compass. Over time, that disconnection feels like anxiety or fatigue, when in fact it's your system protesting against self doubt. Another client asked me to sit on an interview to help him choose the right candidate for the job. This was a sensitive position, and he needed the right person who could shoulder the responsibilities efficiently and lead the job. I did exactly that. I watched and listened and asked a few questions. I perceived the candidate's thought process, and he got the right person for the job. The candidate is doing brilliantly well, helping the firm move forward with their goals. So, how do you recognize your intuitive language? Every person has a unique intuitive dictionary. For some, it comes as a physical sensation, depending on what their strongest receptors are. For example, warmth in the chest, butterflies, a sudden calm. For others, it's an image, a word, a sound, a whisper, or a quiet certainty that lands without explanation. When you notice these moments, don't rush to analyze them. Simply acknowledge something in me knows. That's why I guide business leaders too, to reconnect them with their inner intuition through the 4 dimensions of change, or BIMA methodology: body, emotions, mind, and accountability to action. The body reveals intuitive cues through the relaxation or tension. Your emotions amplify what feels true or false. Your mind translates signals into meaning, and taking action anchors this knowing into movement. Intuition without action remains potential. Accountability to action transforms it into reality. A client once ignored her first intuitive nudge about changing jobs because it seemed irrational to move from such a brilliant job to something else. 6 months later, she was still tired, burned out, still anxious, and still doubting herself. The moment she listened and acted, opportunities appeared almost effortlessly. She resigned, and then the right opportunity came. That isn't magic, it's alignment. If you'd like to strengthen your own connection to your intuition, what I call your inner compass, please explore my new ebook, Unbox Your Psychic Potential. It is a practical guide to understanding and developing your intuitive intelligence in a safe and clear manner. It shows you how to differentiate fear from guidance, how brainwaves affect intuition, and how to practice everyday simple intuitive exercises. You can find it on my website, saharhunaidi.com, under the online growth. But if you become a member of Buy Me a Coffee, you automatically receive 20% off. I will leave both links in the show notes. And by the way, if you enjoy listening to books, my published book, Your Psychic Powers by Arcturus, is already available everywhere books are sold and also on Audible. Intuition rarely arrives with fanfare. It's not loud, but it is precise. It doesn't argue for your attention. It silently persists as a feeling or a thought that pierces your mind. This is when you can't ignore it. You may notice a sentence drop into your awareness, a pull towards or away from something, or a sudden sense of clarity. That's your intuitive voice speaking before your mind projects fear or reasoning and loops around. The more you practice noticing it, the clearer it becomes. Truly, practice makes perfect. You stop asking for proof and you start tuning into your 4 dimensions, trusting the process of gradually aligning. At this stage, logic becomes supporter of intuition, not its opponent. Logic helps you organize what intuition already revealed. True balance is when your mind and intuition work together, not when one dominates the other. I often tell my client it's like a chariot with 2 horses. You need both to navigate the way forward. So, how do you integrate intuition into making decisions? Here's a small practice you can start today. 1. Pause before reacting. When faced with a decision, take one slow breath. This will allow you to pause and be guided to the right response. Number 2, notice your body. Does it feel open, expanded, or tight and tense? 3, observe your first feeling. Is it expansion or contraction? That's often your intuitive signal. And finally, acknowledge it without judgment. You don't need to act immediately. Just acknowledge that your system spoke and you are sensing a feedback. With time, you'll recognize this as guidance you can trust. And remember, intuition is a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger and clearer it becomes. This is how intuition helps you to align. So, when your intuition is activated, you begin to listen from a quieter, truer place. You stop chasing proof and you start recognizing your own signals in your body, emotions, and mind. You realize that intuition isn't separate from you. Your natural intelligence is always there to guide you if only you would listen. Let's take a moment and practice this. If it's safe for you to do so, take a deep breath and close your eyes. Take a slow breath in and smile before you exhale gently. Let your shoulders drop. Let your jaw drop. Take another breath. And as you exhale, allow your breath to find its natural rhythm. Now bring to your mind one decision that's been circling around your thoughts lately. Something you may have been overthinking. Without analysis, simply notice. When you think of this choice, what does your body do? Does it open or tighten? Does your breath expand or hold? Trust that first response. That is your intuition speaking to you. Just quiet truth that already knows. Let that awareness integrate like a soft light on your chest. Allow it into your chest. And when you're ready, take one more deep breath in. Become aware of where you are and open your eyes. That's the space where clarity lives, in the pause between breaths before the noise creeps in. Thank you for spending this time with me on Unbox the podcast. If what you heard today resonated with you, please follow or subscribe now so you don't miss next Tuesday's episode. And to help you strengthen your intuitive awareness, please remember to visit my website or buy me a coffee and download the ebook, Unbox Your Psychic Potential. And if you become a member of Buy Me a Coffee, you will automatically receive 20% members discount on all digital products, including tools for life. These are easy tools for leaders to use very quickly and effectively. Until next Tuesday, remember, you can rewrite your story and reclaim your power. Have a wonderful week.